Oh boy. Yep. I'm talking about this band. Let's get it. It's your boy, Matt Diazable, coming at you with a new album review. I am checking out the latest Trapt album, The Fall. And I'm sure other reviewers have said the same thing, but The Fall couldn't be a more perfect name for this band, this album, because everything about this is just a complete fall off with this band, this record, and everything they are putting out, because it's just some really subpar material with this album. So let's talk about it. I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you already know a lot about this band, so I don't need to really say much. They were really popular in the early 2000s with their big song Headstrong, and since then, they haven't really been putting out much work. Well, they have been putting out much work, but it hasn't been really that great. And this album is not helping the case, because the biggest problem with it is that just because your album is really long doesn't mean more people will listen to it, because it's 15 tracks long and each song's about 4 to 5 minutes long, and they're extremely dull songs. It doesn't help that like the songs are really bland and quite generic, but yet they extend them out for such a long period of time that it's excruciating to get through, because like you think the song's going to end, but they loop it back in with the chorus or the verse again, and it goes on for another 30 seconds to a minute, and it's just like, oh, this is just painful to get through. Big examples of that are on the opening song Try It First, Meant to Be, or Drop Your Guard. And a lot of these songs, majority of them, they just are just repeating themselves over and over, and you're just like, when is the song gonna finish? Because it is extremely bland, boring music with really mid production. So it's just like really hard to get through. And even talking about this album is tough, just because it's so redundant and repeats itself a lot. So I'm gonna play a clip of Meant to Be, so you can get a sense of the dullness, and just you hear this over and over on the song, and it's just like, Everything is just so dragged out and has a very dated sound to it, and not in the good way. Really repetitive songs and really long run times. The album suffers from sounding really low effort and just poorly written. The production's really bad. The songs feel, like I said earlier, very dated and just not very clever. They're just kind of bland in there, and it doesn't really feel like a lot of energy was put into these songs, particularly on Drop Your Guard, Above It All, and Ignorance is Bliss. There's just a lot of low effort energy here. So I'll play a clip of Drop Your Guard. Oh, it's really just bland. I will say that songs like Home and Can't Look Away have somewhat of a decent sound to them, but majority of the songs on here just are either too super radio friendly, and so they come off super bland and have a very boring structure and just sound really uninteresting, and it's just a bland slog of an album to get through. So here's a clip of Can't Look Away for some decent playing, I guess. It feels poorly written at best, but still sounds better than a lot of other songs. One song that really stuck out to me was the last song called Stories Electric. I think it's a re-recording of one of their older songs, and because a lot of the, I think majority of the band who wrote that song years ago are no longer in the band, and so it's just like a shell. The band is just a shell of its former self. This song had a little bit of a more of an energy and a completely different vibe to it. Maybe it was fresh off of that early 2000s new metal rock sound, but it's probably the best song on here, even though it's not even an original song. It's a cover of themselves, and it just speaks volumes of how like poorly made this album is. Sole remaining member of the original band, the frontman, is like doing his best to keep this band afloat, but it's just crumbling around him, because he's really killing the band with his really awkward and poor singing abilities, particularly on the tracks of Think of You, Halo, and When I Get Better. It's like he's trying to make himself sound better and stronger than his vocals can do. Like he's trying to sing in a higher register, do stronger takes that I don't think he can vocally do, if ever, or if not, he's been able to do it before, but he just sounds very weak in his vocal performance. And combine that with the weak guitars that he's playing, it just makes for a very abysmal album. The other band members that were assembled for this album, or who have been part of this band for I don't know how long, they're doing their best to try and make things seem somewhat cohesive, but outside the drums keeping a pace, the riffs are really janky and wonky and sound really bad, like on Drop Your Guard, Bulletproof, and Ignorance is Bliss. Like everything, especially in the guitars, they just sound really, I already said low effort, but just like there just wasn't a lot of thought and feelings put into them. Even on the most energetic sounding song, Bulletproof, the riffs just sound horrible. They don't sound well produced, and they just seem poorly and sloppily written. The bass on this album is nearly non-existent, so I can't really comment on that. It just feels like it's really either poorly mixed out or just wasn't really recorded that well. This being my first time ever listening to a full Trapt album and hearing the drama with this band over the years, it can all kind of it all makes sense why a lot of people have been hating on this band, and just the whole energy they give off. It's just very sad kind of energy I'm getting from this band, and just everything they put out. It's just yo, it's okay to quit sometimes, but they want to keep going, but it feels maybe you guys could put it up and everything, because this is just kind of embarrassing and just poorly made. So, well, my first experience with Trapt, not the best for sure. So I gotta say, this newest album from Trapt for sure is a nice. That's being nice about it, I guess. But it's a 3 out of 10. Yeah, man, not my favorite album of 2024 for sure. Links down below. Check out this band, I guess, and subscribe, comment, tell me what you think about it. And like always, guys, see you in the pit.